Hello and welcome back to Sunk Costs from IT to GRP. And if you're new to the channel, hello. This is a story about me and my life in retirement or early retirement. I am now 8 weeks into it. And what I like to do in my channel is talk about how I'm getting on first of all, and then have some footage of the work I'm doing on the boat. This week is a little bit muddled, very bitty sort of episode. I have lots and lots of things going on and I jump from one thing to another, so I apologise that it is rather bitsy today. I want to have a quick look at the fridge and see if I can get that going, and then I'll give you a tour of the boat and the things I'm up to. And I've jotted down the things I want to be doing this week. One is to actually see how I get on with the fridge. I need to do a general clean-up, especially in the head with all the fiberglass dust that I created. I need to give that a good clean. Other things I want to do is look at this step that I'm sat on. I've sat on the front edge, which is supported on the forward side, but I need to make that safe for entry and exit. I need to get the horn working, and I want to start looking at taking or disconnecting the cooker and the water heater. I need to look at that, see if I can start disconnecting that and removing that. It is very old and I'm not going to trust it. I don't trust that. I don't trust the cooker. Everything I seem to touch on the boat is in need of replacement. So things such as gas, I'm not going to muck about with. So they're the things I'm going to be doing this week. First of all, though, talk about where I am on my retirement journey. I'm now 8 weeks in, and it continues to be quite a revelation. And I still feel I'm very much on L plates. I'm very much learning. I've sort of leapt into it with loads and loads of stuff that I'm doing. And it's a kind of tale of two parts, tale of the mind and tale of the body, in that I had long COVID for several years and really struggled with retaining knowledge and thought processing. And since I've retired, I've sort of done a sort of delete everything about work out of my head and started to use it to think properly. And it is an absolute revelation. I'm doing lots of things to stimulate the mind, learning how to play a piano. So I do about half an hour of piano practice every morning. And I do half an hour as such of French, which I've been studying for years. So I do that to sort of stimulate the mind, but there is so much going on with family side of things, keeping the house running. My wife still works full time, so I've picked up pretty much all of the chores, all of the activities on the house and housework, and shopping and all these sorts of things. And my brain is wired, it's on fire. Its capacity has shot back to kind of full speed, back how it used to be before COVID, and it seems to have responded in the instant. And I'm so pleased and relieved that it can still, where I thought it would never get better properly, it has bounced back in the instant, removing all the sort of the turgid bureaucracy of work and filling it with positive activities. The brain has just switched on fully and it is running at speed, almost as if I got ADHD. It's brilliant. I really love it. And I spoke last week about the fact that I'm basically physically about 40% busier. My number of steps, miles I cover, the activity I'm doing. And my body hasn't responded in the instant. You know, I'm in my 60th year and my body is physically exhausted practically every day because I fill each day full and that 40% of extra work demand on the body, I am struggling. And it will take a number of months for my body to get used to a different sort of energy demand upon it. So whereas I still go to the gym most mornings, I'm still up at 5 every day, I think my body will take longer because it's a different sort of demand upon it, whereby running for a couple of miles in the morning or doing a workout lifting weights is short, very brief, high intensity exercise and then stop. Whereas sort of being active all day, every day is about stamina, and my body is not used to kind of running constant stamina demands upon it all day long. So my body hasn't responded as I wanted it to. The signs, the sort of physical signs and markers are very, very good. I'm really, really, really chuffed about them. But it is that fatigue, that physical fatigue I'm struggling with at the moment. But I will push on with it because the body will bounce back, it will recover. And I'm looking forward to, now that the spring is trying to get here, the fresh air, the daylight, the warmer days, my body will respond. And I'm sure it already has over these past 8 weeks, but it will take a while longer. I've just got to be patient. And I've never been able to do patience. So that's where I am now. Mind is top form, body is getting there. So, but I am still incredibly happy all of the time, annoyingly so, and thoroughly enjoying these first 8 weeks. And with spring on the doorstep and the summer to follow, I feel certain that it will get better and better and better. So early retirement after 8 weeks, I thoroughly recommend it. Anyway, I think let's have a go at the fridge, first thing I want to do, and then I'll give you a tour and we'll do a load of other activities. Let's go that way. So what I've now done, I know I got the wires the wrong way around, that was a bit schoolboy howler, but I've tested that I got 12 volts to these 2 wires now. I haven't got a 10 amps, I've stuck a 15 amp in line to that, and I've connected up with a chocolate box to the 12 volt DC. So as I haven't got a proper switch either, I'm just going to turn the mains on and see what happens. Have a fire extinguisher just in case. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Silence. Oh. No. So I don't really know what that means. These 2 wires go into the silver cylinder. Oh, I can hear a rustling sound. There's a kind of a fizzing sound. So I think what I'm going to do is just to let that fizz for a while. And wait and see what happens. Just wondering if there's a way to see what sort of current is being drawn. Well, I guess the current's going to be below 15 amps. We'll just let and see what happens. This has been connected up now for about half hour or so, and its steam is coming off the silver cylinder, and it's too hot to touch. But the heat sink and these pipes are still just as cold. So I'm concerned that the coolant, which should be circulating and going back in the bottom, isn't circulating. It's just getting very, very hot here. So I'm going to turn it off for now. And have another think on it, because I'm not happy about a fridge of unknown age and provenance getting this hot on the boat and being a fire risk. So I'm going to turn it off now and have a think on it. Starting at the bow, I need to replace the whole of the front, the well and the decking, and so all of this has got to come off and be replaced with new ply, and then I've got to bend some oak and replace those rubbing strakes. And if I step back without falling through the floor, I can show you that this whole seating area, you can see, is collapsing there, is collapsing here. All of this needs to be replaced, rebuilt, and a lot of the problem lies beneath the floor with the timbers that all this rests on are rotten. So that's a major project for the spring on the outside. But inside, it's about clearing all this rubbish, putting that timber back there, clearing this away, removing the fridge off the boat. And I've been thinking that where the fridge was, I'm going to make a top loading fridge within that cupboard space. I've been having a look online and seeing that I can get all of the fridge components and build a polystyrene and plywood fridge to go in there. This cooker will go at some point over the next few months. This water heater, which is at least 30 years old, will go. In the head, I need to finish emptying out the dirty water tank, resealing it, and totally cleaning, sorting out the whole of this head area so that can be used, and connecting up that sink to the water supply. At the back here, it's about finishing off that seating area here. And then as we go out the back door, I'm going to have to, I'm thinking with this has been pumping human excrement sewage. Just going to bin that off. But I need to make this step safe so that wife and family and friends can clamber aboard without falling through. So they are the things I'm looking to do. So as I say, the external side will take months, but I need to clear up and make the inside safe and usable. So the other thing, yes, I need to get that horn working. So I need to wire that up. And that's it. We shall see how we get on. I don't know how far I'll get this week, but let's get going and see what happens. Remove this fridge. Certainly not safe to reuse, not with that heat that was being generated. I'm going to start kicking up dust, so get myself masked up because the dust is. Maybe I should have been more patient and used the multi-tool rather than the angle grinder, because there's just so much fine dust in there. But let's clear it up. Now I think I need let's use a unripped blue bag to start emptying and removing just been cleaning up in here, a first pass just to clear the dust laying everywhere as a main point, so use an antiseptic household cleaner all the way up to the top here, clearing a lot of the dust up. So I've been masked up. Need to get it sort of usable. Next little job that needs finishing is in the head here. We've got the two tap copper pipes coming down to there, and I've taken the cold water feed to here, so I want to fix that white pipe to the back board so that's secure above the prop shaft, and work out how much clear pipe I need to connect these two ends together. So I've removed this downpipe from the tap, and I need to get a little bit extra clear pipe, which I'll then sleeve onto this copper piece, connect the other end onto the white pipe, and then we'll have water all the way through from the tanks, through the pump, past the kitchen sink, galley sink, and then into the head. So this needs cleaning up and possibly some bits replacing, but other than that, getting closer. One of the next things to attack is this water heater. We've got no need for such a thing. Now the gas bottles have gone, and it will need completely replacing from scratch. I'm not happy with whatever vintage we've got here, so I'm going to remove these blue pipes, hot and cold, see if I can remove this piece, and then see how this comes off. Let's get these off. We're going to get a temporary 2-hob separate thing with a separate little bottle for it, so we can boil a kettle and fry some egg and bacon. For the interim, let's just get these pipes out of the way, see if there's any water left in them. I hear water dripping elsewhere, so which always means I'm scratching around for something that will fit. Because to bring all the tools every single time is a real pain. So I do try to plan what I'm going to be doing each day, and then how I do have the instructions for this at home. I'm looking by the state of it. God knows how old it is. But I certainly am not going to trust it with my life. and that of my missus. I'm going to have to see how and if. So this cooker, by the looks of things, comes from here. So again, if I can remove this. Will it be too much to ask to see if this cooker will just move? Yeah. Well, that's good to see. So there's a wire here, which may or may not be mains for when there was ship to shore. I can leave that there for the time being. So it looks like the cooker was fixed by this bracket to there possibly, but that could well be removed. But I should see if I can get to this red and blue pipe and see where it comes to there. So if I cut it at the other end, I might be able to pull it through. Let's have a go at that. So I've removed the blue and red pipes through this cupboard here and from under the stairs here, and not under the stairs, under the sink here. So that's all clear now. And I'm a bit stuck what to do because the floor needs replacing, it's collapsing. The back piece behind the cooker needs to be replaced and the side wall there needs to be looked at, and the gas pipe removed. So there's lots of things to be done here, but really I need that cooker removing before I can progress that any further. Now I need to make this seat come step safe. And what I've done is been cutting this piece of timber that's going to be screwed onto there as a sister piece. And then when I get a couple of metal brackets, I will connect that onto there to give a good solid standing for the seat. So if I put that there, mark it there to there, I can then drill these two pieces and screw them together. Excellent. What I've now done is screwed this sister piece on with 3 screws into the main piece, and just as a sort of temporary, put a piece in, another screw into the end grain there. But what it will need is a bracket fitting on here, and then a bracket on this piece to the front. So if I try to, this will be interesting, get that in there, that goes into there, put an angle bracket onto here, and then that isn't going to move. Now to stabilise this step, I've made at home a couple of triangles, one with 6mm, one with 3mm, so I can try 3, 6 or 9mm to raise that back corner. So I'm going to have a go, see what happens. Let's try 6mm first of all. That is pretty much there. Let's just try the other one as well. See if that is too much. That's even better. That's solid. Excellent. So what I can now do is screw those down. So if I show you, so what I'll now do is screw those down onto those pieces of timber, and that will balance that out nicely. It's a bit haphazard, but the whole of the rear piece of ply needs to be replaced and the horizontals need to be replaced, but this will do for an interim. So let's get that done. So that's 2 brass screws inserted there, and as you can see all the brackets are in place. Let's get the lid on. That's it on there solid and doesn't move when I stand on it. So let's get those 3 screws down, and then that's that piece safe to get off and on the boat. What I've now been doing is connecting up that black push button. Just lashed up some wires to test it out in here. So I've got it connected through the switch up to the horn. The power's now on. Let's give it a go. I can show you where the horn is, down here. Whoop, that's loud. So that now works. Excellent. I was thinking about this cable I've got coming down here out external at the moment, and what I was thinking, I can take a piece of oak and route a channel out, take this bit of carpet off and put a piece of oak here to shield and hide the cable that's coming down. So could do with something ideally a little bit wider, so something that's about 60 mil. No, it reduces. At the top it's 40 mil, at the bottom it's 60, so I'm going to have to cut a piece out at an angle to reduce from bottom to top, and I'll need it 720 mil. 720 mil. So what I'll do, I'll get a piece of oak, ideally slightly larger than this, have it reducing, channel it out and give that a go. So I can do that at home, so that's okay. Coming to an end coming to an end of the work here this week. It's been a very bitty week. Weather hasn't helped us either. Cleaned up the toilet, terminated the white pipe in there. I need to get a piece of clear pipe for that. Need to do more work with that cable coming down in the corner, but we've got the horn working, the lights all done. The cooker is all disconnected, ready for removal. I'll need to get an angle grinder or a multi-tool rather on that gas heater, the water heater. So yes, lots of thinking to be done around what to do with the fridge, how to build a fridge, cupboards and replacing the flooring and the back piece where the cooker is. Yeah, very bitty at the moment. Can't seem to get myself into anything concrete at the moment. I'm pulled in 100 directions like I always am, scattered, doing little bits here and there. So we'll see how next week goes. I've got lots to do at home now. I'm collecting lots of bits of timber to fit, to varnish, to finish, and bring back to the boat. So it's going to be a bit bitty for a while. I think it's probably another month yet until I can work properly outside and start attacking the external deck. So still plenty to do inside. So that's it for this week. Hopefully get this posted on Friday, and we crack on. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, make the best of what you got. Ciao.